What up, everyone? Welcome back to the FitBiz Podcast. Your co-host, Jordan here, and I'm going to tell you a really fucking crazy story. This story is going to also help to better understand what it means to track client success and how to make sure that your program is getting amazing results, because that's what we're here for, right? And the best way to grow a business is to have a really great program, really great product and offer that gets consistent results. Well, it hasn't always been that way for us. We are one of the premier coaching companies for online health and fitness coaches for sure. But, we've been at this now for 6 years. And I think a lot of times as you're getting started, you face imposter syndrome and doubt and worry. Maybe you get a couple refund requests or people not getting results and you're like questioning yourself. Well, I think this story will help set some context around what these things mean. So I'm just going to dive in. And then after I tell you the story, I'm going to share with you 2 ways that you can better manage and track your client success systems so that you know how your clients are doing at all times. These 2 processes will be a game changer for you as a health and fitness coach. So this story takes us back to 2018. It was one of our darkest hours of entrepreneurs for both Aaron and I. So we were headed off to a vacation at this time, first vacation that we had taken in over a year. We were building our fitness business at the time. We had just started IFCA around a year prior to that, and we were climbing aboard this little rickety single-engine prop plane. We were headed to the Caribbean islands with a good friend of ours who invited us there for the week. Okay, so I'm like boarding this plane. As I'm boarding it, I'm just on the verge of throwing up, and it has nothing to do with me thinking this plane was going to crash. Honestly, I was kind of like hoping it did, which is crazy to say. But that morning, Aaron and I woke up that morning just pumped, buzzing with excitement. We were on top of the world because A, we were heading on a vacation, and B, we just came off a week in Miami, or weekend in Miami, I should say, where we attended UPW. That's Tony Robbins' event, Unleash the Power Within. It's a great event. It's intense, 3 days, 12 hours long. But we had this feeling like we could conquer the world. Our spirits were, totally at an all-time high. We felt like we were crushing it until we opened our email that morning. Or actually, it was as we were boarding the plane, we received this email. Aaron saw it, and it was fucked up because we're boarding the plane, we got this email, and we can't respond to this email. We're in this like tiny little prop plane taking us to this remote island. They don't have Wi-Fi on the plane. So anyways, to give you some backstory, inside of this email was basically this like 40-page email from a disgruntled, we'll call her a ringleader, who had rallied together 9 of our former IFCA clients and basically put together all these grievances about our program, and they were demanding their money back. This was about 9 months after that round had ended. Okay, so to take you back a little bit, IFCA was formed about a year before that. For the first 3 years of when we were in business, when we were coaching coaches, we only ran that program twice a year. So we would do a 12-week program, and then we would then focus on our our fitness business, and we would only do it twice a year. And we would really focus on like refining our product between each round to make it better. But the reality is we were kind of winging it. There weren't a ton of online fitness business mentorships at this time. There were only a few. And so, we had built a 7-figure online coaching company at this point, but molding that into a mentorship program was a whole different ballgame. It was really challenging. Okay, but here's what happened. And little did we know, this experience would have become the best thing ever that had happened to us in IFCA, which is usually the case when we go through really hard times, right? So fast forward, this is 9 months after that round had ended. We had gotten this email. And this email was just this crusade of like all this shit. And a lot of it was petty, but some of it was legit. Because the fact is, Aaron and I, we really didn't do a great job that round. A lot of it was my fault. So I was coming out during that round, I was prepping for to try to get my pro card, right? Like trying to go pro and classic physique. So I was fucking skin and bones. I was stressed, overwhelmed. We also moved during that time. So IFCA and fulfillment, we just weren't doing a great job. And so I was so preoccupied with my prep, and I was just in a bad mood all the time, that not only were we not providing really adequate support, but I was like always in a bad mood. So the fact that this was our second round of students, we had made a lot of mistakes, just, calls starting late and stuff not being really professionalized and organized, and just our processes for getting students results weren't that great. We were still learning. So in this round, there were about 22 clients. 9 of them came back for refunds. We ended up refunding every single one of them. Okay, so that ended up being almost half of our revenue for IFCA that year. It's a fucking gut punch. But at this Tony Robbins event, he uttered these words that really, really struck a chord with me. And it was funny how the timing worked out. He said, "Satisfied customers go away, raving fans stay. When there's an issue and it's resolved, you develop a deeper bond than if there never was an issue at all." So when this happened, Aaron and I were just at a loss. So we get to the Bahamas and we're just not sure what to do. They're threatening lawsuits, all this stuff. And they're also threatening to air all this out on social media. So we ended up hitting up a mentor of ours at the time and, letting him know what was going on. And he gave us some great advice. He said, "Look, the strongest person in the room is the one with nothing to hide." So we took that and he suggested we just go on our own social media and just talk about it, admit that we didn't do a great job. So that's what we did. We went on social media. We're like, "Hey, this happened. We're on vacation. And unfortunately, we're dealing with the repercussions of us failing several students the last round of IFCA. Here's where we could have done better. Here's what we're doing to resolve it." And it's funny because when we did that, around, 40 or 50 of our former clients from past rounds, they came and just rallied behind us and talked about how great their experience was and how IFCA had helped them so much. So it ended up being a great PR play because a lot of people rallied behind us and just ended up hyping IFCA up even. We didn't expect that to happen necessarily. But the fact remained that we still had 9 people who were not satisfied, right? So Aaron and I had a conversation that day and we looked at each other and we said, we have 2 options here. We can either just close the doors now. The fitness business is going well. It's growing. It's, at that point it had just hit 7 figures. We could just focus on that. Or we could look at this and say, "Hey, what if we just go all in? What if we decide right now we're not going to launch IFCA again until it's fucking spectacular. We're going to rebuild it, and we're never going to give another client a single reason to not say that they didn't receive far in excess of value than what they paid. Let's never give them a reason again." And that's what we did. We obsessed over product, over delivery, so much so that we didn't even, if you think about it, the first 3 years of IFCA, if you take that, that's 36 months in business. We only actually sold IFCA for 6 of those months. So that we were in a launch model as compared to what most businesses do. They go evergreen. They just continuously enroll clients. We eventually did that, but not until we'd already worked with hundreds of clients over the course of 3 years and really refined our product. So we decided that day, we're going to make IFCA the gold standard, right? And if the market decides that we're not good enough, well, at least we know we gave everything trying to be good enough. And if that happens, cool, we'll move on to something else. So yeah, since that day, we've worked with, here's a cool stat. We've worked with almost 3,000 coaches now since that experience, and our refund rate has been around 1%, where the industry norm for fitness business mentorships, it's around 5 to 10%. 5 is great, 10 is average. So I share this because I want you to have permission to slip and to fumble and to go head first. So get your product good enough to sell, then sell it, but then work your ass off to make it better, because a great product alone can and will build your business. And if you fuck up with a client, good, because that's your chance to really forge an unbreakable program and a deeper relationship with that client. In fact, of those 9 people that we refunded, 4 of them have came back to work with us inside of IFCA. And then we later learned that they were really coerced into this and kind of it's a whole thing. I'm not going to share the drama, but the girl who sort of was the ringleader had this really deep personal vendetta with Aaron that Aaron knew about, but it was a whole thing. And I'm not going to air that out on this podcast. But nonetheless, the fact remained that we didn't do a great job, and we could recognize that. So we use this as an opportunity to learn. And man, I'm just so grateful for that experience, because I truly believe that IFCA would not be nearly as good as it is now had we not gone through that. Okay, so that's the story. So what I want to share next are 2 systems that you can use to really, really help you keep a bead on how your clients are doing. If we had these systems during that experience, this would have never happened, because we would have known that they weren't satisfied way sooner, way before the program ended, and definitely sooner than 9 months after it ended, right? So the first thing is called what we call green light. So green light is just a question that you ask on check-ins, that you ask your client to let them let you know how they're doing as a whole in the form of red, yellow, or green. Green means everything's great, we're cruising, I'm feeling good. Yellow means things could be a little bit better, I'm starting to slip back into some old habits, I could use some extra support. Red means hey, everything's on fire. Red alert, I woke up this morning with a pizza box in my bed. I don't remember how it got there. I haven't showered in 4 days. I'm on the verge of fucking quitting my job. You know what I mean? So our goal is to never let clients get in red. And we track this on a weekly basis. And what's cool about this is clients oftentimes are fearful to ask for help, due to shame, embarrassment. Maybe you don't respond very well to that as a coach and you make them feel even worse about themselves. That's another conversation for another day. But if you give them this safe word, then they can just like message you at any day of the week and be like, yo, yellow. Okay, cool. Like, let's hop on a call and let's figure out where you're at and let's figure out how to get back to green. So it gives them an easy way to ask for help. So that's what I love about that system. All right. So again, you just ask that on the check-in, and also just tell your clients that, hey, at any point, all you have to do is say yellow, and I know that we need to talk. Or red, if it's red, like, hey, let's get on a call and figure out what's going on. So the next thing is called an NPS score. And this comes from, well, I don't know where it comes from, but it's kind of an industry standard for service-based businesses on how to measure your success of your clients. And there's a quote that I'll share, which is, when the customer comes first, the customer will come last. All right. So if you can solely put your focus and intention behind your customer, not only will you get better results, not only will you get more referrals, have a better reputation, but that also allows you to understand your market better so you can create better marketing. Because if you understand your customer's problems really well and you're solving those problems on a regular basis, that gives you so much so many tools and so much ammo to then take and share in your marketing. So here's how an NPS score works. All you're going to do is create a short survey. We use Typeform, and send this to your clients. We like to do it around week 7 or 8. Okay. IFCA is 90 days. And then our mastermind after IFCA is a year. So we send it around, like, with our mastermind, we send it multiple times, but with IFCA, we'll do it around week 7 or 8. And here's basically what it looks, or how it looks. It's all about measurement. All right. What gets measured gets managed. Okay. So we have to have some scoring system to measure how they're doing. So the first thing you do is you just ask what their name is and you incentivize them. The way you incentivize them to complete this survey is do like a random Amazon gift card drawing each month. So whoever submits the survey, they're chosen, or not chosen, but they enter to win this drawing. We send out like $100 gift card every month for the people who fill out the survey. So you incentivize it a little bit, right? And then you just ask, on a scale from 1 to 10, how are we doing overall as a mentorship, right? 0 being horrible, 10 being, this is the best decision I ever made. Number 2, how likely are you to recommend us to a friend? This is a very important one. So if they say, 0 would be like not likely, 10 would be extremely likely. This gives you an opportunity to take anybody who says that they are likely to recommend you as a friend and directly reach out to them for a referral, right? Pretty genius, I know. So anyways, the next thing you ask after that is, what do you like most about us as a company, right? So we're getting them to share what they like, first of all, okay? Then the next thing is, which of the following services is your number one most valued thing that we do inside of IFCA? And you just list out the things that you provide. This reminds them of what they're getting, and it allows you to see, what should I be doing more of and maybe less of? Because the next question is, which one of these services is your least valued, thing that we do inside of IFCA? So for us, it's like our course, our back end with all of our trainings and templates and coaching tools. Then we have our community, our group. Then we have our weekly, daily daily support calls. We have our one-on-one success coach and one-on-one calls. Then we have like the customized business plan that we provide in Learning Path. So we ask them which of these are most useful and which of these are least useful. All right. Then the very final question is, what more can we offer you, or what more can we do to give you an amazing experience at IFCA? So this is more of a subjective answer. And man, I'm telling you guys, if you just do this and really push your clients into filling out that survey, you'll get so much great feedback. You can use that feedback to improve your program, improve your offer, and ultimately become a better business owner and coach, and to make a bigger impact. So that's all I got for you. And I will say this too, as a PS, if you're curious at all about how IFCA can maybe help you, either kickstart your fitness business, maybe you're an expert, somebody who has the skills, you just don't know how to get the business started. Maybe you're like dabbling in personal training or doing Zoom workouts or all this other dumb shit. Let us know. Or if you're an existing health or fitness or nutrition coach and you want to scale, you want to grow it, I can guarantee that you will not be let down by the value that you receive. I can promise you that. That's why we have a 100% results back guarantee, because the truth be told, we are that good. We stand by that, and we get very, very, very few refund requests. All right, so if that's you, all you got to do is shoot me a DM, or in the show notes, there's a link where you can just fill out an application based on that app. If you qualify, we'll reach out. We'll get you on a quick call, figure out where you're at, where you want to go, and just share with you how IFCA works as a sort of demonstration. Then you can make a decision. So that's all I got for you today. Hopefully this was useful, and I will see you on the next episode.